I know we just talked about, we just spent like an hour and a half the other day talking about the US presidential election and the debate and all that stuff. But I do have a slight update, I guess, on that. And I was trying to maybe get you guys' thoughts on it. So, to summarize, we talked about how, Biden, it looks like he's not really up for the job anymore. It looks like they're devising a plan to hot swap him out for someone else. And, it looks like the Biden campaign was over at this point, right? But the news that we just got was that I think it was yesterday how Biden's campaign sent out an email saying that we're absolutely not going to drop out. Biden's going to stay. Like he's in it to win it. He's in it till the end. Blah blah blah. Right. So it looks like that the Biden campaign is really trying to make a push and really trying everything they can to help Biden remain in the race and not drop out. So this is kind of like maybe like the last hurrah. If it doesn't work, then maybe like I think Biden will still have to drop out. But uh, basically, what's going on this week is that Biden has an interview plan with Stephanopoulos, or I forget his name. He's a famous like um, interviewer and news anchor. And basically, what this interview is going to be, it's like just a reporter asking Biden about all his policies and stuff, and it's going to be like in a more, I guess, controlled environment, and it's going to be like it's not going to be live. It's going to be edited before it comes out. So that is supposed to happen on Friday, July the 5th, which is today. Right now, we're filming this on the eve of Independence Day, July the 4th. So it's going to happen to us tomorrow night. So it probably would have already probably happened by the time our audience watches this show. And then it's going to be released in two parts over the weekend. So on Saturday and Sunday. So people are saying that maybe this is like kind of the last this is the last effort of Biden to kind of appeal to the people. And if he doesn't perform well, then he's going to have to be forced to drop out, right? But it looks like maybe he might have to be forced to drop out anyways, because there's major Democratic donors that are now threatening to boycott and pull out and demanding refunds and just not give him any more money in case he decides to stay in the race and refuse to step down. So this is from Gergavin, who's been pretty reliable in just finance news and politics news in general. Apparently, major Democratic donors are threatening boycotts. And also, I saw this tweet from Meet Kevin, which is about the Disney heiress. So, like the kind of inheritor of the Disney fortune, says that she is not donating to the Democrats until Joe Biden drops out. So I think me, Kevin, made a typo. It's not harness, but it's Harris, heiress, or yeah, whatever. But yeah, anyways. So yeah, Disney is known as a pretty left-leaning company, right? So I'm not surprised that they're donating to the Democrats, but apparently they've had enough of Biden and won't donate anymore until he drops out. So it's not looking good for Biden, because there's another news report from NYP. I think this NYP is New York Post, who says that Biden has told Democratic Party governors that he needs more sleep and there's no events, like don't plan events after 8 o'clock at night. I just think that this is kind of like a ridiculous news update of how, like, if you're the president, if you're the current president, like you can't function after 8 o'clock p.m., right? Like, what is this, right? So I'm just trying to get you guys' opinions on everything that I just said. What do you guys think of this news in general? Do you think that Biden will be forced to drop out, first of all? And is there a way? The big question is, do you think that is there a way for Biden to survive? Like, is there a possibility? And if so, how? So those are my questions. And yeah, take it away.
So I don't think there's like necessarily a way for him to survive. I think he's just simply old and he's not really cognitively aligned with himself, and I don't think he's in a position where he can make decisions or remember things or, just be completely present. So I don't see a future where he's, representing the Democratic Party like anytime soon. And I mean, maybe realistically, Camilla or oh yeah, no, the governor from California said he wasn't going to like be a Democratic like representative. So it could be Camilla who's going to be the next person in line, I guess. But that's not for certain. But I think that's the assumption, I would imagine, guys. But anyways, to continue, I think also like it's pretty crazy how Disney's taking out donations from or taking out the donations to give to the Democratic Party. I think Disney, I guess, is known to be left, according to what you were saying, and for them to drop out, I think is pretty insane. Like to me, that's super duper wild. And I guess we do have a little bit to, look forward to with this last you said interview that's gonna happen, and it's pre-recorded, so things could be edited, but I don't see realistically him doing well in it. Like I don't know how much editing can be done to make him look good. Maybe they can do like a million retakes, but honestly, I think he's just gonna like not do well somewhere else at some other time. So I don't see him like continuing. And the cherry on the top is after 8 p.m. I need to sleep. I'm not doing anything. I think that's quite ridiculous for like the president of the United States. I think to have an 8 p.m. curfew on oneself is a bit a little like old age. So I don't know if you should be representing the whole entire United States of America. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, just to speed run my 2 cents. I think that Biden, if he doesn't drop out in the next like 2 weeks, is basically going to make it to the election, and then that's it. I think they're gonna swap him out for Camilla, basically, post him being elected, because I can't see him even living long enough to keep this up, like in a state of mind that's even remotely cognitive, right? So it's just, I don't really see a way that he actually is saved per se. I think Biden's on his last legs, so like maybe he'll be maybe he'll be more on his last legs, or maybe he'll just pass on, unfortunately, or you won't be getting who you voted for. Yeah, and like before the FBI arrests us all, like let me just make it clear that we're not wishing for Biden to like have anything bad happen to him, right? We're just calling a spade a spade.
Yeah.
We've all seen the way that he's performed on the debate stage, and he's not getting any younger. He's getting older by the day. And I think I read somewhere that when you're the president, you age twice as fast as normal to begin with. So if you just look at what Obama looked like when he became the president for the first time in 2008, 2009, and what he looked like when he left office in 2016, 2017, uh, yeah, it looks like he got old, like noticeably, right? And I know it's been like 8 years while he was in office, but it's pretty consistent like that, where it seems like he aged 16 years as opposed to 8 years, right? So I can only imagine what Biden is going through, because he's already old, super old to begin with, oldest president to get inaugurated ever, and then you also age twice as fast when you're the president. It's not looking good. So I guess maybe one final question for you guys. So it's pretty clear that I think we're in agreement that Biden should not run for the Democratic nomination to go against Trump in the election. But do you think that Biden should resign like right now, right? Because like you've seen the report, right? Like Biden says, no events or no like meetings after 8 o'clock p.m. And I think he's also said something similar or there's like an unwritten rule in the White House to not book him super early in the morning either, right? So if he's clocking out at 8 p.m. and he's not clocking in till like 10 or 11 the next day, then he's got a more chill schedule than like a lot of tech workers, right? And he's the president of the United States who has access to the nuclear codes and all this stuff. So if he's unfit to run for reelection, uh, is he unfit to be the president right now? And if he is unfit to be the president right now, should he resign? And if he does resign, then I guess we'll have Kamala Harris as the first female president of the United States, which is a record that I didn't think would be broken in this way, but apparently it might happen. But yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think that Biden should resign, and do you think that he would resign?
He probably should, to be honest with you. But I guess it like historically and like on the outlook entirely, I think it's pretty bad for a president to resign. I think the last one and the only one was Richard Nixon, if I'm not mistaken. So I can understand that from like a dignity perspective, but I think if he's not there cognitively and like present, I think you're just doing everyone a disservice, and then you should just let yourself like rest in. Wait, let me retract. That's really negative. I'm not gonna say it like that. I'm gonna say like I think you should just like have a miraculous like retirement. Like you should enjoy the rest of your life like calmly, Like I think being the president of the United States is a huge responsibility, and if you're incapable of being able to be responsible for the entire nation, I think it's about time you resign, regardless of like historical and dignifying stuff. Yeah. But that's my opinion.
I think that he needs to resign at the very least post the election, because I don't think he's got the cognitive ability to be the president of the United States, even currently. But I think that the Democrats may require him to stay in power until post the election because of the fact that sitting presidents have a better chance of being elected, right? So I think that may be a big factor in him being kept around as the current candidate, because I just don't think that they're willing to risk it by swapping him out. Because again, it gets really difficult to guarantee that he gets elected or that the Democrats get into power if they swap him. They're now running with a new candidate who has no history. And if they don't swap him, they're running with an old man who clearly has issues. Right. So it's just like they put themselves in kind of a bad spot where they're kind of damned if they do, damned if they don't.
Yeah, no, that's totally what I was gonna say, right? I was maybe my opinion is probably the reverse of that, where I think that if they keep Biden in, then it's a guaranteed loss. Where if they swap him out, then maybe they have a chance at retaining the White House. I know like Kamala Harris is probably the one that they're gonna swap him out for if that is the case. And I think that at least like people don't know too much about her, and I guess like she's not exactly super popular, but at least she's younger and she can debate, right? And I think that if you put her against Trump, maybe she has a chance. I still think Trump would probably win if they put Harris in, but I just think that it's a guaranteed loss if they keep Joe Biden. That's just my opinion, though. What do you think?
Sorry, I'll just quickly chime in. I'm in agreement with that. Like, I think for someone like Biden, if he can't even like stay awake for the entire debate or like interviews or like conversations and stuff like that, can't do things past 8 p.m. Yeah, maybe he shouldn't stick around. I don't think it's like the right play, and I think when possible and if possible, he should probably just resign. Like, to be honest, end of story. Like, it's not gonna get better.
Anyone watching House of the Dragon right now? Like, doesn't this remind you of House of the Dragon a lot? So not to like spoil it, because I'm gonna spoil it a little bit in case like it's happened in season 1, by the way. So if you haven't watched it by now, it's your fault because season 2 is already ongoing. But in season 1 of House of the Dragon, the throne, the realm is ruled by this guy named King Viserys Targaryen, and King Viserys is just like, he's a happy, jolly old man. And he kind of really similar to Biden, actually, I would say, right? Like people like him, and people find him inoffensive, and he's just kind of like a tame king, right? Although he is the king, and people do respect him to as far as they respect a king, but generally he's seen as just kind of a toothless old man. And then Viserys names his daughter the heir, but then he also has a son later, and then now it's like now it's a choice, right? Like, do you want to? Because back then it was like it's set in like a medieval fantasy kind of realm where women aren't really respected, so it's like the realm wouldn't accept a queen. So maybe the son, like the younger son, should be the heir, but then like it's kind of awkward because Viserys already named his daughter to be the heir. So it's like he just left this the whole like thing unresolved. And then what ended up happening is that he died without really kind of like reassuring everyone exactly who was the heir. And like he did name like his daughter the heir, but it was like he named her the heir once, and then he just never really like changed his mind on it and never really talked about it again. So like what he should have done probably is reassure everyone and make it clear exactly who he wants to be the heir, but he didn't do that, and then he dies of like old age basically, and then there's a civil war, right? Like that's all I'm gonna spoil for you, but like I think that this is kind of similar to maybe what's happening in real life. We're not at the civil war part yet, thankfully, and hopefully will never be. But I'm just saying, right? It's kind of like when you have a weak king, when you have a weak leader who's getting up there in age and not able to decide and indecisive. Should I like go for this election and stay in and try to tough it out? Or should I drop out and let someone replace me? And it's kind of like he's hovering in between these two decisions, and he's not giving everyone like a clear answer. And I guess his answer right now is I'm staying in the race, which he said it in a very unconvincing way. He hasn't really done anything to really convince anyone that that's exactly what's going to happen, and people don't believe him, right? Obviously, like we just share the stories of all these Democratic donors pulling out. So yeah, I just think that it's very similar to House of the Dragon that way. Do you guys get the sense, or do you guys watch the show, or yeah, what do you guys think?
I can see the similarities with the aged ruler. I don't know if it's quite the same because the line of succession is not really necessarily a thing, but the preferred successor of Biden will likely have a harder time getting into power post Biden, is kind of what I'm thinking, similar to Rhaenyra in House of the Dragon. So
yeah, and once again, if they misplay this, if they misplay the cards, which I think they're misplaying it right now, the Republicans could get in for 12 years, as Kevin was saying, right? Like, why 12 years? Well, Trump is going to win, right? So he's going to serve his second term. That's 4 years. And then Trump's proposing all these policies to like, jack up business and like make everything like, make stocks go up basically, and like pump crypto and all this stuff. So if he actually does implement these policies, I do have reason to believe that they are going to be like very good for the stock market and good for crypto and all this stuff. The Americans might avoid recession if Trump gets in, which means that people are going to be happy and want to vote Republican again, which means that they're going to vote for whoever succeeds Trump, but from the Republican side. And then that's another 4 years. And then, like you said, in normal circumstances, people tend to like to reelect presidents for another term, which means that second Republican candidate, whoever is going to be after Trump, they might get reelected if they get elected the first time, which is another 4 years. So 12 years in total. that the Democrats could be out of power if they don't play their cards right. And I think that they're really kind of messing up right now. So, yeah. Anyways, Dom, do you have anything you want to add?
No, I think I'm okay just because I didn't personally watch the show, but
Oh, you're
yeah,
missing out.
I
I'm
probably
like,
am.
yeah. You should watch it. It's great.